The Yellow Badge of Cowardge is the 22nd episode of the 25th season of The Simpsons, directed by Timothy Bailey, and I feel like it was okay. The messages, the morals, absolutely beautiful. The narrative involving Bart was really good. The one with Homer I didn't really care for, but both are necessary for the final, third of the episode. So I can't say I don't think Homer's story should have been there. I just didn't find the build-up very interesting. But the main focus is on Bart and Milhouse. They're having their last day of school race, where all of the pupils apparently race around the school, and Milhouse is doing really well. But something happens to Milhouse, and Bart observes, and Bart decides to not intervene and help Milhouse, and instead go on and run the race. And he doesn't tell Milhouse that he saw what was happening to him. He keeps it a secret, and the guilt begins to eat away at him. Will Milhouse find out the truth? Will Bart ever tell people really what happened? I feel like that's a really interesting situation that Bart was in, and I'd like to say everybody would do the opposite of what Bart did, but in reality I feel like a lot of people wouldn't, and I think it can really make people think about how they'd react in that situation. It's not a situation I'd ever find myself in, because there's no way I'm being near the start of a running race, but I can imagine that it's something that would make people maybe think twice, even if they would do the right thing. I think there would always be that, maybe I shouldn't. And it's very interesting, and ultimately I won't say what happens with that part of the narrative, but I thought it was really good and it worked really well, and I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the development. I enjoyed Maggie's involvement. Maggie definitely torments Bart a little bit. And Maggie does something really adorable at one point. And it's nice to have Maggie providing some of the entertainment, because she doesn't do very much in most episodes, so it's quite nice to have her actually helping to drive things forward a bit. With regards to Homer's, I just didn't find it that interesting. The 4th of July fireworks has been cancelled because there's not enough money, and Homer is refusing to accept this for quite a sentimental reason, actually. I will say that the backstory behind why this is so important to Homer is really well done. And he goes off to find this guy who used to do the fireworks display when he was a boy, to encourage him to put on the fireworks display. And that's important for the development of the narrative later on, but the actual events leading up to that are just not that interesting. I didn't find them to be very funny or entertaining or enjoyable at all. I didn't hate it as such. I just was, hoping it would just hurry up and move back to Milhouse. So that I thought could have been a bit more interesting, but it wasn't, it wasn't terrible. The only thing I really, really don't like about this episode is the fact that it's narrated. It's narrated by Lisa. And I think that was because Lisa didn't really have anything else to do in this episode, so they just said, well, she can narrate it instead, that we don't need to worry about shoehorning her into other scenes. But I feel like over the last maybe 2 or 3 seasons, The Simpsons has really fallen into this weird habit of having characters narrating the stories. And as a one-off, as a novelty now and again, it's okay, but when it happens every couple of episodes, or at least once a season, I don't like it. I don't think it works well. It can work well, but I don't like it certainly in this case. There are a couple of times when it's okay, but generally I think it's irrelevant, and it's also kind of lazy, because the key to storytelling is showing, not telling, which I suppose it should be called story showing, but you're supposed to show, not tell. So by having a narrator explaining everything, it means they don't have to make as much effort to show things in as much detail or to be clever with showing things. So I don't care for it, and I don't think it's relevant here either. That being said, it wasn't enough to turn me off of the episode. That, coupled with the Homer narrative, it wasn't enough to make me dislike it. I did enjoy it. It's not perfect. I wouldn't mind watching it again, but I don't think it would be an episode I'd intentionally seek out.